Hello and welcome, I'm Louis.
And I'm Sophia, and you're watching CUTV.
Welcome to CUTV. With us now, Sarah. How are you, Sarah?
I'm good, thank you.
Our music specialist Richie Blake has already interviewed you, but I'd like to ask you one question.
Yeah.
What singers have inspired you?
Ooh, okay, there's quite a few. If I give you a little bit of a list, we've got Aretha Franklin, Etta James. I used to listen to tapes of Whitney Houston, of course, Mariah Carey, Tina Turner, Celine Dion, Diana Ross. They're my main sort of, going back when I was younger. I mean, now, massively, Beyonce has been, inspiration recently. Jessie J, massive inspiration recently. Really pushed me to sort of, up my game. And a bit of Jennifer Hudson as well, yeah. That's about it, really. There's probably more I've forgotten, but that's basically it, yeah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Right, some quick fire questions now. Sarah, what do you like?
How many answers can I give?
As many as you want.
Okay, pink, purple, bunnies, diamonds, singing.
What do you dislike?
I don't like mean people.
Where do you see yourself in a few years' time?
Hopefully singing to thousands of fans, yes. On the big stage.
What insights have you had this week? What have you learned?
This week, I've learnt that always be a good person and keep going. If you love something, be passionate about it. Get some confidence, yes.
Once again, thank you very much, Sarah Eden Winn.
Thank you. I heard there was a secret chord David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do ya? It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, a minor fall and a major lift, a baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof. Her beauty had the moonlight overthrew you. She tied you to her kitchen chair. She broke your throne as she cut your hair. From your lips she drew a hallelujah, 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 Baby, there's a God above. All I've ever learned from love is how to shoot somebody who outdrew you. It's not a cry that you hear at night.
It's not someone who has seen the light. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah,
And now feature on the Graphics FDA course.
Entitled Platform 14.
Good evening, my name's Nick Reardon and welcome to Platform 14. The exhibition itself is just up the stairs and on the second door to your left.
Our show, it starts off in Weston and then goes to Bristol and London in a little different order to that. But Platform 14 is based on the GWR, which is the Great Western Railway, and it links the southwest to London. And because it's the first time we're going to London, we thought this would be a brilliant a theme to go with our show.
It's just different. I mean, I'm not an artist, but when you walk in, you get goosebumps at the amount of talent that there is here. It looks wonderful.
14 platforms at Paddington Station and 14 students in the group, so it gives a nice cohesion to it, yes.
And we've tried to go away from the general thing that people do, like bake sales and all that kind of stuff, and really try to get everyone involved so they can understand what Western College is trying to do.
What do you think it means to the students to have such a professional opportunity?
It just gives them that chance to think outside the college boundaries. You know, you can go into college every day or sit behind your Mac every day, but to actually think you can have something up on show and that satisfaction of actually selling it to the public is brilliant.
Every single student has produced a really stunning, unique and brilliantly sophisticated print. I'm in awe of them, actually, if I'm honest. So, yeah, I'm very proud.
The venue's fantastic. Students have put on a professional exhibition and it's all credit to them, and I'm really proud of them.
What about your experience at Western?
Yeah, I can't really rate it. It's brilliant. Yeah, it's just been everything I really wanted it to be. So, yeah, it's been really cool. I really enjoyed it.
Welcome back, and now for this week's Your Western, presented by local historian John Crockford Hawley.
For most people, Worlebury Hill is a pleasant woodland backdrop to Weston-super-Mare. Its 400 acres of trees, shrubs, footpaths are a haven of peace and tranquility, and where archaeologists try to understand the lost civilization which lived on this hilltop 5,000 years ago. Let's take a journey back in time, but you'll need to use your imagination. A hilltop devoid of trees. This is where our later Stone Age, Bronze Age and Iron Age forebears lived. And the evidence for this? Western Museum here in Burlington Street houses a fine collection of ephemera, all gathered from Worlebury Hill. Come inside and see what we've got on display. Western Museum here houses a fine collection of arrowheads, bones and ephemera found in and around Worlebury Hill. The dead may not talk, but they do tell a story of prehistoric living in this area. And why did these ancient forebears occupy that hillside location? Well, principally, they were above the floodplain. The southern slopes could be used for farming. The fish came in abundance from the sea and fowl from the levels, and of course, they were in the most ideal defensive position. Don't think of all prehistoric times as being the times of aggression and warfare. Many decades on Worlebury Hill were times of relative peace and prosperity. But about 300 BC, things changed. It did become aggressive, and many people perished on Worlebury Hill. This was a time of the Dubonai tribe. They were a warlike people. Just look at what happened on Worlebury Hill. The museum here in Weston-super-Mare has many artefacts from Worlebury Hill, but perhaps the most poignant are those which came from the end of the encampment. Here is the leg of some poor person incised by an axe. He didn't survive. This arrow found on Worlebury Hill had gone into one of the tribesmen, and here is part of that tribesman. His teeth have seen better days, but look at the back of the skull. An axe finished him off. This was a bloodthirsty end to Worlebury Hill. Worlebury changed forever when John Piggott, who was lord of the manor, decided to turn the barren medieval fields and common land into a romantic wooded hillside following the enclosure awards of 1810 and 1815. 1,000 sheep were driven off the hillside, stone walls were built around it, and local school children were brought in to plant thousands of trees. It proved impossible to keep the woods private, and so eventually the squire allowed public access. Once again, the woods became important during the Second World War. Only this time, the Americans were able to hide all their weapons in the woods and along the toll road. It meant Luftwaffe pilots couldn't see what was going on there. This, of course, was in preparation for D-Day. And one day, the Supreme Allied Commander, General Dwight D. Eisenhower, arrived in Weston, and he stayed overnight in a caravan in the middle of the woods near the water tower. And today, well, the woods are one of the great wonders of Weston-super-Mare. The woods are there to be enjoyed by all and at no cost to anyone. But do take care these chill winter days. 2,000 years ago, many perished in scenes of terrible violence, and not all of their bones were laid reverently to rest.
And now we welcome John to the studio.
Thank you.
John, can you tell us any more about Worlebury?
Yeah, I mean, Worlebury's a fascinating place. To most of it's a pleasant woodland. There are several hundred acres of woodland, a sort of playground. But it's a very historic site. This is where our forebears lived in the late Stone Age, in the Bronze Age, in the Iron Age. Thousands of people, tribesmen living up on the hill in this wild, woolly environment.
In the VT, there's all these huge trees. Can you tell us a bit about them?
Well, the woodland, of course, is very modern. It was only planted in the 19th century. The local squire, John Smith Piggott, got all the kids in the village to go up with acorns and saplings, plant the whole woodland out so it could become a sort of game reserve, a back garden for him to play in. And it very quickly became a public area. And if we wanted to make it look like it should look, we would chop all the trees down, make it something like Breen Down or Middle Hope, and then you would see why it is people were up there.
So how did it all come to an end?
Well, it's a fascinating story because even though we know that the tribesmen had lived there, this good defensive position on the hill, in about 300 years BC, what had been until then a fairly peaceful existence suddenly became extremely violent. And we know that because in the museum in Weston, we've got the evidence. We've got skulls, we've got fractured bones, we've got broken jaws, we've got ears that have been chopped off. These people were being butchered. A terrible, terrible mayhem up on the hill. Not quite sure why, but they all disappeared. The ancient people disappeared. They probably went across the Channel to Wales. Then the Romans came. The Romans weren't interested in living on a hill like that, but they were interested in making sure nobody else lived on it. And so that was the end of Worlebury Hill. Bloodthirsty end to it.
Well, very interesting as always, John. What are we doing next time?
Well, there's a possibility we could get on to Burnbeck Pier, do some filming there. It's just a possibility, but I hope we'll be able to do that. But that's before the poor old thing sinks into the sea.
Well, John, it's a pleasure as always. Thank you very much. And now the news. Weston College lecturer James Wilmot has published his first ebook titled The Boy Who Became Father Christmas.
I've been working on it for quite some time. I got the seed of the idea when I was on honeymoon in Lapland 11 years ago. I've always loved Christmas, the best time of the year. So I kind of looked into kind of the myths and legends surrounding Father Christmas. There's such a diverse background and different cultures and countries have a different history. So I thought I'd put something together that combined a lot of those myths and legends into one kind of short and clear, cohesive story.
The international Irish band The Stars of the Commitments came to Weston recently and performed on the Grand Pier. CUTV interviewed their sound crew.
Today is The Commitments on the Grand Pier in Weston-super-Mare. So we've got a 10-piece soul band coming and playing for approximately 400 people in one of the function rooms on the Grand Pier.
This year's Weston College Carol service took place at St John's Church. Hollywood actor and director Stephen Burkoff recently came to the college to open the Stephen Burkoff Studio. He also conducted a workshop with the performing arts students.
And finally, the Music Department Christmas show was held this year at the university campus. It was completely sold out. And that's it for this edition. Have a very Merry Christmas.
Playing us out, we have an excerpt from this year's carol service.